Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had so far. And the best you'll ever have, possibly, until we hear from Don Beebe, who's with us. Check him out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give him a call and find out what's for dinner at 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. And a big welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. All of our independents up and down the West Coast, throughout the Heartland, and over through the East Coast. Our affiliates over in Atlanta, WDJY, a big special hello to you. 99.1 FM, Auburn, Alabama, home of the Atlanta Braves, WAUD, plus everybody else. Oh, and our friends in Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500, KHKA, home of the Yankees, 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right. We have a very special guest, as I mentioned, from the very top. In fact, we're going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, young man.
Hey, Sal. How you doing? This is Don Beebe, and played 9 years in the NFL. Went to 6 Super Bowl on 6 Super Bowl teams, 4 with the Buffalo Bills and 2 with the Green Bay Packers. So I'm just happy to be on this show, Sal, and talking with you, man.
Hey, man. Not bad for a young man from, I guess we'll see, the far western suburbs of Chicagoland.
Yep. Grew up in Sugar Grove, Illinois, which is right outside of Aurora.
I know it well. That's on the way. Yeah. That's at Route 30 where it kind of hits the 88s, right in that area, right?
It is literally the last suburb of Chicago.
It's now a suburb. I remember when Sugar Grove was literally just an interchange.
It was. Yeah, back in my day it was. But now it is right attached to Aurora, and that whole area is, everything west of us is cornfields,
right?
And everything east is city.
Yeah, we used to take that road, the 88 to the Route 30, headed out to Woodhaven Lakes. My mom and dad had a place out there, a little camping setup. Everybody from the city would bring their trailers over there and kind of be together again, trying to get away from it all, but just to join everybody again, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it was a great place to grow up because I get the benefit of both worlds. Very rural America, just go out and quiet life, or city, fast-paced life if you wanted to do that. So it was a great place to grow up.
Yeah, it really was. And you know, I used to have a house not too far from your area over in Geneva, right there on the Eagle Brook Golf Course. And
yeah, know it well.
Not to say that I'm a good golfer, because, buddy, I am a terrible, a terrible golfer. But ultimately, I do get out there, and I have a funny story to tell you. It's really going to take about maybe 30 seconds on the golfing. Are you a golfer, by the way?
I am.
Okay. So I was talking with Brian Urlacher a while back, and I said, hey, Brian, I'm going to be out in the Phoenix Valley. I know he plays, 3 odd times a week, maybe 4 times a week, whatever it is. He goes, hey, you want to go play for a round of golf? I'm like, yeah, you're going to be out there for a minute with me. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, I'm terrible. I'm so bad. You're going to see. Well, here's the good news. You pay to go play golf, but with me, you're going to take the long scenic tour, because you're going to be out there for twice the amount of time with me as you would if it's just yourself. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'll probably be in the 110s, 120s. Oh, no. He said, we're going to go for pizza instead. And that was, he goes, that's what we're going to do. And, ironically, like you and I went to Salerno's on the Fox River over there in St. Charles. Well, that same Salerno's has a place out in Gilbert, Arizona. So the good news is that I've got a pizza coming from Brian Urlacher. The bad news is I'm a terrible golfer.
So, and I heard Brian's pretty good stick.
He is very good. Yeah. And, well, let's face it. If you're playing multiple times a week, something tells me you're probably going to be pretty good.
You do anything multiple times a week, you're going to eventually get pretty good at it. Yes.
Well, and that goes for eating pizza, too, if you know what I mean. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. All right, so look. So what are you doing today? Look, we know that 6 Super Bowls, that's nuts. And here's the crazier part. So here you are from Sugar Grove, from far west suburban Chicago, wearing the Green Bay Packers logo. How'd you feel about that first? Come on, man. Give me the real.
Well, Sal, I'm kind of screwed up, and I have a real trifecta. So I grew up a Bears fan, okay? I played for the Packers, and my son played for the Vikings. So, I mean, we're all screwed up in our family.
Hey, I've got a Vikings helmet right behind me. That's okay. I'm all right with that.
Well, yeah, no, I grew up a Bear fan and followed the Bears very well.
Right.
But, man, once I saw that paycheck of the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers, I quickly became a fan of them.
You got that right, boss. And, a lot of people don't realize, Don, that it's just business. And most of these guys, look, hey, I'm going to work for this company this year, next year, whatever. And, I think a lot of the fans don't seem to understand that it is literally work.
Yeah.
Right.
It is work.
Yeah,
I mean, back in my day, our day, the fan was team based. Well, it's got, especially with fantasy football league, it's become player based. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a fan of a player, not so much a team. Much, even though there are still fans. Don't get me wrong, but it has become a lot more individualized because of FFL, which I have no problem with.
Right.
But back in our day, you just bled your team, man. If they lost, Mondays were awful.
Buddy, I still do it. It's been painful. I mean, look, not just football. My beloved White Sox are in the toilet right now. And, and I watch what's going on, and I see what management is doing. And it was interesting. I saw a post from the White Sox. Sorry, I'm jumping all over here. I saw a post from the White Sox, and it was something about they were excited about getting player X. Now, I used to play baseball, and I just scratched my head, and I'm like, Chris Getz, what the heck are you doing? In fact, they had made a post, something about suggestion, and my suggestion was fire everyone. And then shortly after I did that, Nicky Lopez, he's from Naperville. Nicky put a big fat heart next to it because, I'm not the only one thinking the same thing, and Nicky's tied up with the organization. Right? So I'm sure his frustration, he's got pride too, just like everybody else. You don't want to see your team in the toilet. And these guys are going to probably be worse as we move forward. But let's not timestamp this because I want to be able to play this again because we've got some really good, interesting content that's going to come out of today's program. And one of those is the idea of the whole, I want you to tell everybody what you're doing with Aurora University today.
Yeah. Well, I coached in high school when I first retired. I started a business called House of Speed. Trained a bunch of athletes, did it for 23 years. And within that, 6 years into that, I got into high school coaching at Aurora Christian High School. Did that for 14 years, 10 as the head coach. And then these past 6 years, I've been at the Aurora University. And I've been the head coach there going into my 7th year at Aurora University. And I'll be honest, I love it. I absolutely love it.
All you guys do is win, isn't it?
Well, we've been winning. Yeah, I mean, we've had some success, and it's been great. But as I tell people, I'm not about winning, even though I believe that when you do it the right way and you build meta character, and that's my main objective and passion anyway, you're automatically going to win more if you do it right.
Right.
That's just always how I believed. And the thing is all I did was take notes from great mentors, Marv Levy, my high school coach, my college coach, people like that understood how to win the right way. And all I did was I just took notes from them.
Marv Levy, another guy from the area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is, no sure.
That's right. Well, that's where the big money was. Well,
yeah.
but a very good human and a guy just knew how to do it. And in our last couple of minutes here, Don, what do? I surround myself with winners because winners win, and I live by that. And for those people that give me reasons why they couldn't do X, Y, and Z, please tell it to somebody else. I don't want to hear why you couldn't do it. Show me the trophy. That's it. And I live by show me the trophy. It doesn't have to be a physical trophy, but I want to know you got it done. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I'm in the recruiting business now, right, for 6 years recruiting athletes. And one of the things that I tell them at every recruiting meeting is a couple of things along these lines. One is the two biggest reasons why players don't make it. We're talking football here. This could apply to anybody in life. The two biggest reasons is, one, you don't think you can. Whatever it is that you want to do and become, you don't think you can do it. And if you don't think it, forget it. It's not going to happen. Because it doesn't matter what your parents think or your coach or your friends think. You got to believe it. And the second thing, people are just too lazy. You don't understand. If you want to be great at something, that's going to take a lot of work. Okay, a lot of hard work. And the other thing I tell people is the last time, and I don't take credit for this, okay, because I just, like I said, Hall of Fame high school, Hall of Fame college, Hall of Fame NFL coach that I played under, and I had a Hall of Fame dad that's still alive at 87 years old. And one thing they taught me is what you're saying, how to win. And the last time that I was on a losing team as a head coach or a player was my junior in high school. That was 43 years ago.
Wow.
So that was the last time that was under 500.
Well, there's a round of applause for that. I tell you what, Don, hold that. Don, hold. I'm so sorry. Hold that thought, because we're going to go to break here in just a moment. I want you to pick up on that on the other side, because, look, a lot of people don't get this kind of content. Listen, folks, fasten your seatbelts. You're going to get more from the great Don Beebe. I'm going to say great because this dude is lightning fast, and also he's a really good human. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus with Don Beebe, and we're going to talk about his writing as well. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC Sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call
714-948-0100, 714-948-0100, again, 714-948-0100.
or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment is brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, as I mentioned in the first segment, as well as everybody watching on TV on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, and WOW Cable television affiliates, Hotel TV, and over 500,000 rooms from coast to coast. Everybody on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, thanks for joining us as well. Folks, that's a fun page to get out and have a little bit of fun, talk about your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes. I don't know, just go ahead and participate, have some fun. It's a group, it's free. I'm the administrator, so don't spam the page. And listen, there's a couple of thousand people on there, so be respectful to everybody as you would anyway. All right, nice round of applause for Chicago Food Favorites. All righty, and we are back here with Don Beebe, lightning fast, super accomplished. And Don, when we left off in the last segment, we were talking a little bit about your coaching at Aurora University. I said that I don't think you guys lose, do you? Where do we leave off?
Yeah, we were just talking about winning, and you said how you wanted us to be around winners, and it's certainly something that in recruiting, we try to recruit kids that come from winning programs. Okay, that's a big emphasis that we put on because it's just ingrained in them as a high school kid. What does winning look like? Well, winning is an all-time thing, as Vince Lombardi said. It's not a sometime thing. It's an all-time thing. Okay, that means every day when you wake up, your mindset is what am I going to attack today? How am I going to get better today? Those are winners. And you look at all the successful people, men and women across the country, they have this innate ability to attack the day. They don't lay around. They don't let other people do their work for them. They're not fending off anybody else. They're just doing it themselves and getting it done. But in the same sense, I pray every day that I would just stay humble, be humble. I don't have all the answers. And believe me, I'm not the one that created this wheel. I just took notes from people way smarter than me, and I tried to duplicate that, be it a Coach Levy or my dad or other coaches and peers that I played with that were winners. And try to instill that now in young men that I coach today.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, I pray every day, and I'm thankful and say, hey, I'm glad I was given another day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, tomorrow's not promised, and we just never know what's going to happen. So I really put forth my best effort. And even with this show, look, this show is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of blood, sweat, and, yes, tears involved in this. And it took a lot of capital and a lot of time and commitment to get this thing going and get it to exactly where it is. Hell, we've done over 2,100 shows now. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
And I've kind of lived by the motto, Sal. It's not that hard, but it won't be easy. It's not that hard to be a great athlete, but it won't be easy. It's not that hard to run a great radio show, but it's not going to be easy. I mean, you could say that about anything.
Right. It's commitment. It's just commitment. Think about when you first told me, it was several years ago, you said, I teach speed. I'm like, how in the heck do you teach speed?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that we do, going back, because I don't do it anymore because I did it for 23 years now that I'm a college coach. I tried to run a business and be a college coach for about a year. I found out very quickly I was never home. So I couldn't do that anymore. But the first thing that we do, what that should say, is you can't teach world-class speed. I'm not going to make every football player 4.2, 4.3, 4.44. It's just not going to happen. Genetics have to come in with that. But I would always take myself as an example, that if I would have never trained, I would have stayed maybe at a 4.4, 4.5. Yeah, that's genetically and crazy fast, but that wasn't my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal that I ran was a 4.21. So we try to reach, when we were doing this, and we had 24 franchises around the country, is to reach each person's optimum, okay, in speed, explosive power, jumping ability, cutting, whatever the sport that they played, okay, and that is not hard as long as that kid's willing to work.
A lot of people aren't willing to do the work. People ask me, well, they say, well, you go out and ride your bicycle. I lost a bunch of weight and I kept it off. Since last time I saw you anyway, I'm down about 50 pounds, man. I've kept it off too. Yeah, so,
that's awesome.
Well, I'll give myself a round of applause. Yes! Just because. But it's just a commitment to better health, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'll be really tired, but I'll go out and ride 20, 30 miles on my bicycle because that's what I do. I don't have to do anything else. I just have to eat a little bit better. I cut a lot of things out of my diet that I shouldn't be eating anyway. I still eat some of the things just because I'm a slob. But generally speaking, I just eat better and I'm committed to not going back to where I was. And, it's cool. I went shopping in my own closet and I was able to fit into everything again, if you know what I mean.
Because I did the same thing about a year ago. Since the last time me and you had lunch, too, I've lost 25 pounds.
Wow. And you didn't need to lose weight. Mercy.
No, but the thing is, Sal, I was getting to the point in my life I was coaching. And coaches, they don't always coaching kids and training kids and stuff like that, but I was never doing it. I didn't take the time to do it myself. And as I was getting older and I just turned 60, I'm starting to realize that, I need to lose some weight and get back into a little bit of a shape. And so what I did is I went on a straight carnivore diet.
Okay.
And all I eat is meat. And which is, it's been great. I haven't felt this good in 20 years, easy. And so from body fat and feeling great with energy, it has helped me to try to achieve and do the things that I love to do because, I was getting sluggish and tired.
Right.
So I had to make a change, and I did, and I'm so glad I did.
Right. And by eating the wrong things, folks, I mean, look, I like my vice arguably is cookies. I don't know what it is. I just can't resist good cookies. And, of course, when I'm in Chicagoland, it's a cannoli. Or if I'm in Sicily, right? But the reality is I can't resist good baked goods. And we don't have a lot of that here in Las Vegas, luckily. Otherwise, it'd be remarkably tempting. We don't have Italian beef sandwiches here, and which, again, is a vice of mine. But generally, it's just a commitment to yourself. And so I tell myself, I don't want to hear excuses. Remember the old, in Rudy, no excuses, do the work. I love that. I'm not a Notre Dame guy. I'm a Purdue guy for undergrad, so it's painful for me to watch that. But I love the movie because the story of perseverance is incredible.
Yeah. Well, Rudy's a good friend of mine, so...
hey, we'll have to get him on the show one of these days.
As much as the movie's an inspiration, Rudy is that in itself when you meet him face to face. He's awesome to talk to.
One of these days you'll have to drag him on the show for me. It's one guy I haven't had on here. I mean, hell, if I've had Mario Andretti on, I surely could have Rudy on, right?
Absolutely.
I was just thinking of speed. That's why I went to Mario. But Mario was a great guy, by the way. And what was funny is, my sidekick on the show for about maybe a year and a half was Tyrone Poole. And Tyrone is a very fast guy still today. Won a couple with Tom Brady over there with New England. And he played opposite Ty Law. And
I played with Tyrone.
Yeah. Tyrone's like a little brother to me. And, that was at Carolina, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Tyrone, yeah. I think he was the first. Yeah, he was T-Poole. He was the first defensive player ever drafted for the Carolina Panthers. That's right.
I did not know that, but I was there that 95 year with him.
Yeah, he was that. And also, he was American Ninja Warrior, too.
I did not know that.
How do you like that? We'll give Tyrone a nice round of applause. Yeah. He'll like hearing this on here. Tyrone's a good guy. But he's one of those guys that, and I love, he tells me, I'd say, well, hey, practice makes perfect. He goes, no. Perfect practice makes perfect, yeah. Right? And he's the guy that first put that into my ear. And I don't know who he heard it from. He told me one time, but it has stuck. And I always think of that and commitment. So when you're on the recruiting trail doing your recruiting here in the last few minutes of the segment. When you're on that recruiting trail, what is the message you're sending to the athletes that you're looking about? And you're actually looking at student athletes, not athlete students, correct?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Student athletes. As a matter of fact, academically, we've never had a year in 6 years with the whole team, 120 to 140 guys, hasn't averaged over a 3.0.
That's
great.
Boy, that's good stuff.
We were 3.27, but so we put a big stress on academics. But I tell every recruit, I said, listen, I just want you to know I could care less about your talent. I could care less about what you look like. Now that, people would think you're crazy. Outside of character, if he doesn't have character, I don't want him. Okay, so I always get the question, well, how do you know the kid has character? Well, the first thing is when they come on campus and they're with their parents, we observe how they treat their parents during the course of that day. How they sit when I'm talking matters. How they shake my hand, how they look, make eye contact. When I watch their film, how do they react to the success they have? Doesn't matter if they're a DN getting a sack or a wideout getting a touchdown, and all those things. But more importantly, when I really get interested with them, what I'll do is I'll watch somebody else's film on their same team at the same position typically, and I'm watching their highlight video, but I'm really watching in the guy that I'm recruiting. Because when somebody else is at their best, I want to see, do you generally have excitement for somebody else's success? Boy, that's just so far-fetched in our culture today. It's all about me, right? And my success, and I get this. And so, those are things that we really recruit big time as character.
That, I have to tell you, that is very insightful, and I'll tell you offline. I have a little story, something about that idea. But folks, listen, this is very insightful. You're not going to get this feedback from most anybody else, so make sure you stick around for the next segment and the next segment beyond that, because we're here with Don Beebe. The guy's been in 6 Super Bowls. He has hoisted the trophy. He knows what it's like to win, and you're going to win with this guy too. He's got a lot more information, as do I, back here in just a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by the Sports Circus. Make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, or recorded shows, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Stitcher, Deezer. We're there. You can't get away from us, folks. Also, make sure you check out the partners page. Lots of great partners over there. And some good friends of ours are down on 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. That's Al's #1 Italian beef. Again, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. And folks, don't ever confuse an Italian beef sandwich with a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, because something may happen. I don't really know. But listen, end of day is a very different sandwich. And the food down at Al's #1 Italian beef is phenomenal. If you want to read about it, if you don't know, check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. And tell them Ringmaster Sal sent you. Maybe you'll get some fries. Don't know. But I tell you what, the beef is really good. We're going to hear about beef in just a little while here. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast, up and down the West Coast, throughout the heartland, all the way down to Alabama and Georgia, and a whole bunch of points in between, all the way up to the Northeast. And we are here with Don Beebe. Don has been to 6 Super Bowls. He has won a Super Bowl with Green Bay, but this is a guy that knows the word perseverance, and he knows commitment. He certainly knows speed. And Don, when we left off in the last segment, I think we were talking a little bit about maybe the integrity of the athletes and do what's right when no one's looking. Is that about right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I always say this, that how you react to something is really your true character. And Coach Levy used to say this all the time to his players, how you react in a game, in a split-second moment, is your true character. And that's why it's always a segue into the Leon Lett play against Dallas in Super Bowl 27, which I'm known for, right? Never give up. Well, the reason is I don't take credit for that. I mean, that's just the way I was raised. Because when you have a split second to react, which I did, I saw the ball fumble, I saw it picked up, I'm going to chase him down. I didn't think anything different of what. I just reacted. That's your true character. And I always say this, you want to find out what your true character is, ask your wife. Okay, because you're going to know in a split-second moment sometimes what is your true character. It's always revealed in a split second. Because most people, good people, high-character people, if they have 5 minutes to react or a day, they're going to eventually say, gosh, I was wrong, my fault, let's move on. But how you react to something is really who you are.
Yeah, and of course, that always deserves a round of applause. So that was a real nice segue into never giving up. What's that all about?
Yeah. Well, I've had, this is kind of a long story, but I'll kind of shut it short as much as I can here. But I had a crazy story. I should have never played in the NFL. It was this guy, I'm a man of faith, and it was God's calling in my life, okay? But as I was the Bills' first pick in the 1989 draft, and that was only playing 2 years of college football, one at a really small school, NAIA school, Chadron State, Nebraska, in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. I mean, and I get drafted by Buffalo. Well, I went through and then go to 4 Super Bowls with Buffalo and then 2 more with Green Bay. And then after I won the one at Green Bay, a lot of people were saying, man, this is a book, this is a movie, all these things. And I never thought of the book guy, movie guy. Well, anyway, we did a book. Denise Crosby of the Sun-Times wrote the book called 6 Rings from Nowhere, because I have 6 Super Bowl rings. You get a ring if you win or lose. It doesn't matter. They all look crazy, right? They all look the same. So I have 6 rings, so we call it 6 Rings from Nowhere. And now that book is turned into a movie called Run for Glory. And that movie is coming out at the end of 2026, early 2027, which is a life story. But even on top of that, I felt led to encourage people by going through certain things in life, which we all do, as an athlete and as a father. And I wrote 2 devotional books. The first one was, like you said, Sal, Never Give Up. You know, in the lead devotional, and there's 12 of them in this book, personal stories. I wrote every word of these books, devotionals. The first one is a Leon Lepley. And I get the question all the time, why? Why'd you do it? Why would you run him down? It's 52-17, 4 minutes left in the game. Who cares, right? I cared, you know, because that was the way I was raised. So that's the first one. And then the second devotional I just finished as well a couple months ago, called In His Image, a father's devotional. Again, things that I went through as a father and how did I handle that scripturally and just helping people. I mean, that's why I wrote them. I just wanted to help people, encourage people to never give up, be a better dad, be a better husband. And I had people that taught me, and I failed miserably, okay? But yet at the end of the day, I know, you know, what is the right thing to do, and I try my hardest to do that.
You know, and that's really good stuff. And here's something interesting. So just about every morning, Don, I get a message from my buddy who's in the Miracles, you know, the old Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Well, the Miracles were taken over by Sid Justin, our former LA Rams corner, right? You may remember him back in the 70s, 80s, right? So Sid's a great guy. And it's Sid and his brother, Kerry. And then there's 2 other guys. One of them is Eric, and another one, his name slips me right now just because I'm under pressure of the microphone. But what's cool is that I get a message in the morning, and it's typically from Eric from the Miracles. And they sound tremendously. And there is a scripture in there. So he always sends me scripture. And so what's interesting is this particular one, and look, I typically don't do this on air, but I'm going to, because we talk about a path. And the path, you never know what's going to happen. So this one says, let me prepare you for the day that stretches out before you. I know exactly what this day will contain, whereas you will have only vague ideas about it. You would like to see a map showing all the twists and turns of your journey. You'd feel more prepared if you could somehow visualize on the road ahead. However, there is a better way to be prepared for whatever you will encounter today. Spend quality time with me. I will not show you what's on the road ahead, but I will thoroughly equip you for my journey. My living presence is your companion each step of the way. Stay in continual communication with me, whispering my name whenever you need to redirect your thoughts. Thus, you can walk through this day with your focus on me. My abiding presence is the best roadmap available. How do you like that? That's good stuff, man. That's Exodus and John. That's really good stuff. And I don't really do a lot of that on air, but look, I don't talk about my faith or whatnot on air. But folks, listen, that's a great message because we don't really know what's ahead. Now, do we, Don?
No, we don't. And I do the same thing. I try every morning. My quote is from E.M. Bounds, and I'll paraphrase what E.M. Bounds said. Is he who fritters away the early freshness of the morning in other pursuits than God will put God last if it doesn't come first. So meaning that when you wake up and you pick up your cell phone or you go to the laptop or you do other things before your faith, then you never get to your faith. You know, because you're busy, your life gets too busy, and we're so busy. I mean, all of us are busy. Everybody's busy, right?
Right.
You know, I don't want to be that. So until I spend time with him first, and it's exactly what you're saying there. And I try my hardest every morning to live that out.
Right. And I'm thankful for Eric sharing this with me every day. And sometimes it's so good. I mean, this one was really good. I shared it to a few people, and I'm not known for doing that, but the content is good. It's kind of like this show. Listen, folks, we're going to give you all kinds of things on the show because we can. We're not worried about what this one or that one's going to say. If you don't like it, turn the channel, because I've been doing this long enough. And listen, people like the guests, they like the content, they like the comedy, but they like the seriousness and the drill down. And so, listen, ultimately, if we don't have another purpose, Don, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
I know. You know, it's what I used to think all the time as a little kid in the backyard of my mom and dad's house, Sal. I thought three things. Those three things were, where did this all come from? As a little kid laying in the grass in the backyard in the summer day of July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did this all come from? And then I would think, why me now? What was I created for? I mean, I'm a 10-year-old kid. I mean, why now? In this grand scheme of life, the circle of life, why me now? And then I would think the third thing is, well, it's going to end one day. Where am I going? I mean, that's a scary thought, to be honest with you. If you really don't have faith and knowing where your future lies, it's going to be a scary thought. I don't have that scary thought. I know where I'm going, and it's only because of my faith, not because of me.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So here in our last minute, we're going to segue out of the book. So by the way, check those books out at donbeebe.com. And the name of those books again, Don, are?
Never Give Up is the one devotional. In His Image is the second devotional. And then 6 Rings from Nowhere is the biography.
Hey, that's good stuff. I'm going to look forward to all those. Maybe I'll get an autographed copy and I'll keep it here on file with everybody else's books. Hey, listen, I get some good reading, but I haven't gotten anything from you except a pizza, which I have to tell. That is the most glorious pizza photo. I show that picture to everybody because the pizza is phenomenal. And those are my friends over there at Salerno's on the Fox over in St. Charles, Illinois, folks. Boy, that pizza is so damn good. But I have to tell you, when you get over there, folks, get the biggest pizza you can. And it's going to be thick crust, but just put some Italian sausage on it. You're going to gain about 10 pounds, but you know what? It's like going on a cruise all in one meal. That's how you got to look at it. Folks, we're going to be back here with Don Beebe. We're going to stay on that food topic and talk beef when we come back. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, here with lightning fast Don Beebe. I kind of had this thought in my head. I'm trying to imagine Don Beebe running with the ball, getting a catch from pick your favorite quarterback, and somehow trying to see big Brian Urlacher chasing him down, but I just can't catch up, if you know what I mean. Because Don's just he's just too fast. I thank God he can. Brian's a big, big guy, and boy, I would never want to get hit by that good old boy from New Mexico. Boy, that's a tough guy, and I'm glad he's my friend.
Speaking of linebackers of the Bears, I got hit coming across the middle one time by Singletary.
Oh, mercy.
And I've got this picture in my basement, Sal, and what's really unique about this is at the point of contact right before our heads hit each other, because we were both going low for the ball, is his eyes are wide open. Now think about that.
I know that look.
It's like me slapping you in the face and you keep your eyes open. It's impossible, right? You're going to close your eyes. Well, that's how serious and intense Mike was.
Mercy. And
he's awesome.
You know what a great memory, even though it could have been a little painful. But look at the memories that you generated on the field, and now you're generating them off the field as a coach. And, of course, you have the recruiting trail and whatnot, and the transfer. I want you to talk real quick about the transfer portal as a college coach.
Yeah, so there's two things that going on in college football lately, NIL and transfer portal. Now, at the Division III level, we don't have to deal with either one of them to a certain degree, not certainly like Division I level, no doubt. I don't have a real big issue with NIL because the money is being made by the NCAA. Okay, so that money's got to go somewhere. And I think having players get some money. My first reaction when it came out a few years ago, I was like, man, they shouldn't be paid, right? But then the more I thought about it, is that money's going somewhere. Now, the only thing I would say is they need to limit it. I mean, they're making way too much. If you're making more now, guys are wanting to stay in college instead of going to the pros because they're making more in college. That's a problem. Okay, so they should some form of limitations on that. Now, transfer portal, I'm completely against that. It's these kids that go somewhere for a year or two. I'm a blue collar guy, and I just don't think kids. It takes away from commitment, loyalty, all these characteristics that coaches try to teach players. And now you see all these old-time blue-collar coaches, Nick Saban being one of them, and many others getting out of it because it's turned into a free-for-all. I got it to the highest bidder and stuff of that nature. And how do you mentor when a kid comes in for a year or two and then he's gone? I just don't like it. I don't like what it stands for. I really don't.
I don't either. And my problem, I think back to when, you and I are just a couple of years apart or so. And I think about when we were at the college age, and let's say we're 17, 18, just going to commit to university X, Y, or Z, doesn't matter. We had something called a clock. Our eligibility clock was at stake for everything we did. And we couldn't just go switch to schools. No, we'd lose eligibility and all this other stuff, and we couldn't play the next year or whatever the heck it was. And who you committed to, that's where you're at, and that's it.
That's right.
It's kind of like football before free agency, right?
Exactly.
You were at that team, win, lose, or draw. That's where you were. And it didn't really matter.
I told, when my 4 kids came out, 3 girls and then my son, Chad, when they were coming out for college recruiting, I said, once you commit to somebody, that's your word, son. That's your word, daughter. And I said, you're going to commit to that. okay, and you're going to go to that school. You're not going to back out or anything of that nature. Okay, now there's sometimes extenuating circumstances that involved in that, but we've gone way beyond that. And not only that, of all the schools that recruiting you and gave you an offer, when you do decide who you're gonna call every coach that recruited you and gave you an offer and tell them personally, professionally, that you chose this other school. Nowadays, we find it out on Twitter. You know, they never respond to us. Some do, and I always tell the kid, hey, listen, I'm so proud of you that you would call me and tell me that you're going to another school. You're a high character person, and that's why we recruited you in the first place. And God bless you, and good luck to you. I always say that to them.
Right.
You know, because it's the right thing to do.
Well, look at it this way. Teaching morals, ethics, accountability, these are things that almost seem to be invisible in today's time because the almighty dollar has distorted everything and everybody for the most part.
It really has. But, you know, I refuse, Sal, to give up. I refuse to just throw in the towel. And if I do, I'm getting out of coaching. Okay, my days are done. But I refuse to believe that there's still young adults out there, okay, that are high character people, and I want to just keep molding and helping them in their walk and building character through sports. Football's just my avenue to do that. I tell every recruit that comes in, I said, I'm not here to win football games. I'm really not. I'm here to mentor young men and teach them character. If I'm here to win football games, how shallow really is that?
Right. Well, and look at it this way. You got good practice with your boy and your girls. And your boy went on to play for the Vikings as well for a few years, right? I mean, a very good player. And I've seen him out there. He's just one of those guys, man. And, you know, sometimes people, from time to time, they get overlooked for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. But it's shame on them because there is a whole group of skills that people seem to miss. And a lot of those deal with morals, ethics, accountability. I live and die by accountability and efficiency. Don't waste my time. Get out and do the right thing and be quick about it.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is it makes life a lot more pleasant and more joy and peace through life when you live your life that way. Okay. In teaching young men this, and young girls, too, because I used to coach. I mean, having 3 daughters, I was around girls' athletics a lot
right.
through the last 27 years of coaching. So,
hey, and thank God boys can't compete in girls' athletics anymore, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many stories in that, Sal.
Yeah. Don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you really opened up a can of worms now.
I know.
But it's true. I mean, anybody with common sense, okay, people that don't understand that, it's not even worth having a conversation. Okay, so you know, we're built differently. You know,
men are 40% stronger by genetics.
Not be taking away scholarship money from girls and trophies and
right.
and things that these girls work so hard to achieve, and then a guy comes in that's an average guy athlete, mind you.
Right.
And then he's successful in the women's sports. Yeah, really? That's to be applauded?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Sorry.
Yeah, listen, that deserves an astounding round of boos. Now, I have no love for that. That is a bunch of nonsense. But you know what I do have love for? I have love for steaks and chops. I want you to tell me all about what you've got cooking right now, young man.
Well, I'm on the carnivore diet for the last year,
yes.
So I've really gotten into beef. And for me, okay, I'm big on pure. Okay, when you buy stuff in the grocery store, there's probably 100 different cows that go into that hamburger. Because what they do with hamburger, and you find this out because my best friend, going back 40 years, okay, Chris Earl, who's one of the top cattle guys in the country. This is what he's done his whole life. Okay, he has 8,000 acres out in New Mexico, and he has a ton of cattle. Well, he consults a lot of people. Well, he can look at a cow the same way I would look at a wide receiver. Yeah, yay or nay, right? Within minutes.
Yeah.
Well, he is in this business, and it's called Bid on Beef, and it's you go there and you buy your meat, and everything there is come from one cow. Okay, one cow, so it goes straight from the ranch right to your table. That's what I love.
Yeah, you know the bloodline. You're right. You know the bloodline. That's like horse racing. And let me add this real quick. I know we only have a couple 3 minutes left in the segment, but you know the bloodline. And you know when you have these big epidemics or this big recall or whatever, well, you've got the whole lot of them, like the 100 head of cattle, whatever, where your hamburger was made. Not in this particular case, do you?
No, he knows exactly. He can look at a cow, and he knows exactly the lineage of where that cow came from. I mean, that's huge. You know, and if it's, there's no way he's putting his name on something that's not verified Angus, not certified. Because certified, it could be anything, to be honest with you. This is verified beef. So he knows exactly where this cow comes from. And when you eat a burger from Bit on Beef or you eat a steak from Bit on Beef, it's coming from one cow. And there's no injecting and no, feeding this thing other than organic, natural stuff. So I'm a big Bit on Beef guy.
All right. And you can check that out, folks, at bidonbeef.com, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Bidonbeef.com? Yep.
That's true.
Yeah, boy, that's good stuff. And you can learn all about the organization, really, really good products. And, we have a top of the show sponsor in the same kind of way. It's a different variety. But, folks, listen, if you want something good for your belly, something good for your body, check out bidonbeef.com. Nice round of applause for them. So, Don, how can people find you and your books and whatnot? And I did mention donbeebe.com for the books. Talk real quick about those. Wrap those up again. I'm going to give you about a minute to go over all that, and then we're going to get out of here.
Yep. So the biography that was done on my life story called 6 Rings from Nowhere was done about 10 years ago or so. And that's turned into a movie called Run for Glory, which comes out at the end of 2026-27. And then I wrote 2 devotionals, one called Never Give Up and another one called In His Image. 12 stories in each, and they're faith-based things, and these are, you can find them on donbeebe.com. You can't get the devotionals anywhere else except donbeebe.com.
I like the fact that you have them on your website instead of some other distributor or whatever that, we're going to do this and that for you. And that kind of thing drives me crazy because you have these big aggregators that will just put a book in there and then it gets lost with a million other books.
Yeah, I don't like the middleman in the beef business and the book business and just I don't like the middleman. I just never have. But I learned this a long time ago, Sal. Invest in yourself. That's right. And I always say, Don, if you believe in yourself, bet on yourself.
Show me the money!
and I live by that. I bet on myself. I don't care what the amount of work is. If I'm going to set out to do it, I'm going to do it no matter what. And listen, it's that type of perseverance that I think a lot of people are lacking in today's time. They always want shortcuts, Don. How do you get from taking hard work every day to saying, I want to take a shortcut there? You get lazy, don't you? Yeah, and again, in the world of sports, in recruiting a kid, if I see what their work ethic is like, they're cutting short, they're not our guy. I mean, that just goes along in the whole character thing. High character people are ones that attack life every day. They look at things not as an obstacle. They look at it as, I'm going to achieve it. And then they go and do it. Yeah, I think you're right. And listen, folks, thanks for sticking around with myself and, of course, the great Don Beebe. And I say great because, man, I don't know anybody faster than this guy. I don't care if Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21. I think I know somebody else ran a 4.21 before that anyway. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the circus today. I'm your ringmaster, Sal. Make sure you check out bidonbeef.com for Don Beebe and for myself. We'll see you in 23 hours right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA. the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.